The morning sun cast long shadows across Research Station Kepler 44b. As Dr. Kim Nari walked through the empty corridors, her footsteps echoed in the silence. Most of the research team was still sleeping, but Nari had been awake for hours. Could not sleep when there was work to do. Nura stopped at the large window overlooking the alien landscape. The planet's surface stretched out before her, covered in strange purple grass and towering crystal formations. This world was home to the most dangerous predators in the galaxy, the Vorthok. She had been studying them for 3 years now. Every day she watched them hunt through her equipment. Every night she read reports about their attacks on other worlds. The Vorthok were perfect killers. They stood 9 feet tall with bodies covered in sharp crystalline spines. Their intelligence was as deadly as their claws. The other researchers thought she was crazy for wanting to understand them. Director Lee Minho had told her many times that the Vorthok were just animals. Dangerous animals that needed to be avoided, not studied. But Nari saw something different when she looked at them. She saw intelligence. She saw emotions. She saw creatures that were more than simple beasts. The communication system on her desk beeped. A message from her research assistant Yoon Houn appeared on the screen. Dr. Kim, the morning scan shows movement in Sector 7. 3 Vorthok. Moving away from the pack, Nari quickly put on her field gear and headed to the observation deck. Through her telescope, she could see them. 3 large Vorthok warriors walking across the purple grassland. But something was wrong. One of them was limping badly. His crystalline spines were dark instead of their usual bright color. As she watched, the other 2 Vorthok suddenly turned on the injured one. They attacked with their claws and spines. The injured warrior tried to defend himself, but he was too weak. After a few moments, the attackers walked away, leaving their former packmate bleeding on the ground. Nari had never seen anything like this before. The Vorthok were known for their strong pack bonds. They never abandoned their own, yet here she was, watching them leave one of their warriors to die. She grabbed her medical kit and emergency beacon. Her hands shook as she prepared to go outside. In 3 years, no human had ever approached a living Vorthok. It was against every protocol. It was dangerous beyond imagination. But she could not watch the creature die. Dr. Kim, where are you? Going? Yoon Haeon's voice came through the intercom as Nari headed toward the exit. Sector 7, there's an injured Vorthok. It cannot be serious. Please tell me you are not going out there. Nari paused at the door. I have to. It's dying. It's a Vorthok. They kill humans. They kill everything. This one is different. Its pack left it behind, because it's probably diseased or insane. Even more reason to stay away. But Nari was already walking through the airlock. The alien air felt strange in her lungs, even through her breathing mask. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, making each step feel like she was floating. Gosh. She had only been outside the station a few times before, always in a protected vehicle. The walk to Sector 7 took 20 minutes. With each step, she expected to see other Vorthok warriors coming to investigate. But the landscape remained empty except for the strange plants in the distant crystal formations. She found the injured warrior lying on his side near a small stream. Up close, he was even more impressive than she had imagined. His body was covered in deep blue scales that looked like armor. Crystalline spines along his back and arms were beautiful, like living gemstones. But many of them were cracked or broken. Dark blue blood flowed from multiple wounds. The Vorthok's eyes opened when she approached. They were large and golden, with intelligence that took her breath away. For a moment, they stared at each other. Nari expected him to attack, to use his last strength to kill the human who had come too close. Instead, he just watched her with those golden eyes. I'm going to help you, she said softly, knowing he could not understand her words. She opened her medical kit and began to clean his wounds. The Vorthok did not move. He did not try to attack her or escape. He simply lay there, letting her work. His breathing was shallow and painful. Several of his ribs were broken. As she worked, Nari noticed something strange. The warrior's spines were making soft sounds like gentle music. She had read about this in her research. The Vorthok used their spines to communicate with each other. But she had never heard sounds like these before. They were not the harsh hunting calls she had recorded. The sounds were soft and sad. "You're trying to tell me something, aren't you?" she whispered. The golden eyes blinked slowly. Sounds continued. It took her 2 hours to stabilize his injuries. She used emergency foam to seal the worst wounds and gave him antibiotics that might work on his alien biology. When she was finished, she sat back and looked at him. "I don't know if you'll survive," she said, "but I had to try." The Vorthok warrior lifted his head slightly and looked at her. Then he did something that changed everything. He placed one of his huge clawed hands on her arm, not to hurt her, but gently, like he was saying, "Thank you." Nari felt tears in her eyes. "You do understand, don't you?" The musical sounds from his spines grew softer. His eyes closed, but his breathing seemed stronger. She activated her emergency beacon to call for help. Within minutes, she could hear the station's transport vehicle approaching. Soon, Director Lee Min-ho would arrive with a medical team. Soon, she would have to explain why she had risked everything to save a creature that was supposed to be humanity's enemy. But as she sat there with the injured Vorthok warrior, Nari knew she had made the right choice. This was not just an animal. This was a being with thoughts and feelings and the capacity for gratitude. The other researchers would call her crazy. They would say she had lost her scientific objectivity. They would be wrong. The transport vehicle landed nearby, and Director Lee Min-ho stepped out with 2 security guards. His face was red with anger. "Dr. Kim, what have you done?" Nari stood up slowly, placing herself between the director and the injured warrior. "I've made the most important discovery in human history. You've broken every safety protocol we have. That thing could have killed you." "His name is Kel," Nari said, though she did not know where the name came from. "And he's not a thing. He's a person." Director Lee stared at her like she had lost her mind. "Get away from it now." "No." The word hung in the air between them. Nari had never defied a direct order before. But she would not abandon Kel, not when he needed her most. The golden eyes opened again, looking at the humans who had come to take him away. The musical sounds from his spines grew louder, more urgent. Somehow Nari knew he was afraid. "It's okay," she whispered to him. "I won't let them hurt you." She had no idea how she would keep that promise, but she would find a way. She had to. 3 days had passed since Nari brought Kel to the research station. The Vorthok warrior now lay in a makeshift medical bay that she had set up in the lower storage area. Director Lee Min-ho had wanted to keep him in the main lab, but Nari convinced him that the creature needed quiet to heal. The truth was different. Nari wanted privacy to study Kel, without the other researchers watching her every move. She had already heard the whispers in the corridors. The other scientists thought she was losing her mind. They said she was getting too close to a dangerous alien. Kel's wounds were healing faster than she expected. His alien biology seemed to respond well to human medicine. The broken spines on his back were already showing signs of regrowth. But more importantly, he had begun to trust her. Every morning, Nari would find him awake and watching the door. When she entered, his golden eyes would follow her movements. The musical sounds from his spines had become more frequent. She was beginning to think they were not random noises. They seemed to change based on her actions. "Good morning, Kel," she said as she entered the medical bay with his breakfast. She had learned that he could eat some of the protein bars from there. Emergency supplies. The warrior's spines immediately began to vibrate with soft, melodic tones. Nari had been recording these sounds for 2 days now. Last night, she had spent hours analyzing them on her computer. The patterns were complex, almost like a language. She sat down beside his bed and unwrapped the protein bar. Cole watched her, hands carefully. When she offered him the food, he took it gently with his claws. His movements were always careful around her, as if he knew his strength could hurt her. "You're trying to talk to me, aren't you?" she said softly. The spines on his arms began to vibrate with a different pattern.
Us.
The sounds were higher and more rapid. Nari quickly activated her recording device. "Is that a yes?" she asked. The same pattern repeated. Chal's golden eyes never left her face. Nari felt excitement building in her chest. This was it. This was the breakthrough she had been hoping for. She opened her laptop and began to analyze the sound patterns in real time. The door to the medical bay opened suddenly. Yoon-hoon entered, carrying a cup of coffee and a worried expression. "Dr. Kim, you missed the morning meeting again. Working on something important." Hound looked at Kel nervously. The Vorthok warrior had grown still when the new human entered. His spines had stopped making sounds. "Director Lee is getting impatient. He wants to know when you'll be ready to transfer the creature to the main lab." "He's not a creature. His name is Kel." "You gave it a name?" "He told me his name." Hound stared at her. "Dr. Kim, that's impossible. The Vorthok don't have individual names. They're pack animals. We don't know that. We've never actually communicated with them before." Nari turned back to Cole and spoke gently. "Can you tell my friend your name?" The warrior's spines began to vibrate again. This time the pattern was different from before. It was more complex, with layers of sound that seemed to build on each other. "Did you hear that?" Nari asked excitedly. "Those aren't random sounds. There's structure to them. Grammar. This is a language." Hound moved closer, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "Play it back slowly." Nari replayed the recording at half speed. The complexity became even more obvious. There were distinct sections to the sound pattern, like sentences or phrases. "My God," Hound whispered. "You're right. This is communication." Over the next hour, Nari and Hound worked together to analyze more of Chel's vocalizations. They discovered that he had different patterns for different concepts. One pattern seemed to mean yes, another meant no. A third appeared to be his name. Cole watched them work with obvious interest. Occasionally he would make new sounds, as if he was trying to teach them his language. "This is incredible," Hound said. "Do you realize what this means? We're the first humans to communicate with a Vorthok." "It gets better," Nari said. She turned to Cal and made a simple gesture with her hands. "Can you understand this?" Cal's spines vibrated with what they had identified as his yes pattern. Then he lifted one of his clawed hands and made a similar gesture back to her. "He's learning our body language too," Nari explained. "We've been teaching each other for 3 days now." The excitement in the room was interrupted by heavy footsteps. In the corridor, Director Lee Minho entered with 2 security guards. "Dr. Kim, I need to speak with you privately." Nari stood up protectively in front of Chel's bed. "Whatever you need to say, you can say it here. The research board has made a decision. The Vorthok is to be transferred to the main lab tomorrow morning. We need to begin proper scientific testing. He's not ready to be moved. His injuries are still healing. The medical scans show he's recovering rapidly, too rapidly. You need to understand how his biology works." Cal's spines began to vibrate with new sounds. These were harsher, more aggressive. Nari had never heard them before, but she could guess. What they meant? He was afraid. "You're scaring him," she said. "It's an alien predator, Dr. Kim. It doesn't get scared. It gets angry. His name is Kel, and he's not an it. He's a person with thoughts and feelings." Director Lee's face grew red. "You've lost your objectivity." "Okay. This is exactly what I was afraid would happen. I've gained understanding. For the first time, we have a chance to really communicate with another species. What we have is a dangerous alien that has somehow manipulated you into protecting it." The harsh sounds from Chel's spines grew louder. He was trying to sit up in his bed despite his injuries. "Stop," Nari said firmly to the director. "You're making this worse." She turned to Kel and spoke in a calm voice. "It's okay. They won't hurt you. I won't let them." To everyone's surprise, Chel's aggressive sounds stopped. He lay back down, but his golden eyes remained fixed on the security guards. "Did you see that?" Nari asked. "He understood what I said. He responded to my tone of voice." "Coincidence," Director Lee said, but his voice was less certain. "Test it yourself. Say something aggressive to him." The director hesitated, then spoke in a harsh tone. "You're coming with us tomorrow, whether you like it or not." Immediately, Chel's spines began to vibrate with warning sounds. His claws extended, and his muscles tensed. "Now speak gently," Nari suggested. Director Lee cleared his throat. We just want to understand you better." The aggressive sound stopped. Chel's claws retracted, and his body relaxed. Impossible, one of the security guards whispered. It's not impossible, Nari said. It's just the beginning. She sat down next to Charles' bed again. The warriors' spines began to make soft, musical sounds. But this time the patterns were different, more complex, longer. What's he saying now? Hound asked. Nari listened carefully to the sounds. She had been studying his language for days now. Slowly, she was beginning to understand. Think, she said quietly, he's telling us a story. The story continued for several minutes. The sounds painted pictures in Nari's mind. Images of running across alien landscapes, of hunting with a pack, of belonging somewhere, and then the sounds changed. They became sad, lonely. The story was about losing that belonging, about being cast out and left to die. When Call finished, the room was silent. Even Director Lee seemed affected by the emotion in the alien's voice. He was telling us why his pack abandoned him, Nari said. He was cast out for something he did, something his people saw as weakness. How could you possibly know that? The director asked, because I'm learning to speak his language, and more importantly, he's learning to speak ours. That night, after the others had left, Nari sat alone with Call in the medical bay. She had made a decision that would change everything. Tomorrow, they want to take you away from here, she said. They want to do tests that might hurt you. Spines vibrated with what she now recognized as sadness. But I have an idea, she continued. What if we could prove to them that you're not dangerous? What if we could show them that you're intelligent and peaceful? The warrior's golden eyes met hers. His spines began to make the sounds she had identified as questions. I want to teach you to speak human words, she said. And I want you to teach me to speak your language properly. Together, we can show them that communication is possible. For the first time since she had found him, Chel's spines made sounds. That could only be described as happy. The real work was just beginning. The next morning came too quickly. Nari had spent the entire night working with Cal, teaching him simple human words while learning more of his spine language. By dawn, he could say Nari, yes, no, and thank you, in broken but understandable English. It was not enough time, but it would have to be. Director Lee Min-ho arrived at the medical bay with 4 security guards and a transport stretcher. His face was set in a grim expression. Dr. Kim, please step away from the specimen. His name is Call, Nari said firmly. And he can speak for himself now. The director laughed coldly. The Vorthok don't speak human languages, they're animals. Can you tell the director your name? The warrior looked at the group of humans nervously. His spines began to vibrate with low, uncertain tones. Then, slowly, he spoke. Call, he said in a deep, rumbling voice. My name, ... Call. The security guards took a step back. One of them reached for his weapon. How is this possible? Director Lee whispered. I told you, Nari said. He's intelligent. He can learn. He's been trying to communicate with us all along. Chal's golden eyes moved between the humans. He could sense their fear and confusion. His spines made soft questioning sounds. He's asking why you're afraid of him, Nari translated. You can understand those sounds? I've been learning his language. It's just like he's been learning ours. Director Lee stepped closer to Chel's bed. If you're really intelligent, then answer this question. Why did your pack abandon you? Chel's spines went silent. His eyes filled with what looked like pain. After a long moment, he began to speak in a mixture of English words and spine sounds. Pack ... cast out. Call showed ... nursey young enemy. Could not kill, Pack says. ... weak. Not worthy. The room was completely silent. Even the security guards seemed stunned. He was thrown out because he refused to kill a child, Nari explained. His people saw mercy as weakness. Possible, Director Lee said. The Vorthok are ruthless killers, No Cole said, his voice growing stronger. Cole not killer. KHAL ... protector. Spines began to vibrate with a new sound. It was unlike anything Nari had heard before. The tones were deep and resonant, filling the room with harmonics that seemed to touch something primal in the human listeners. What is he doing? One of the security guards asked nervously. Nari listened carefully to the spine song. She had learned enough of his language to understand the basic meaning. He's claiming us as his pack. What does that mean? Means he sees us as family, people to protect instead of enemies to fight. The spine song continued, growing more complex. Cole's eyes fixed on Nari as he sang. The sounds spoke of loyalty, of bonds stronger than blood, of a promise to guard and defend. He's making a vow, Nari said, tears forming in her eyes. He's swearing to protect us with his life. This is absurd, Director Lee said. Vorthok don't make vows to humans. This one does, Call said simply. Nari saved Call. Now Call saves. Nari, the spine song reached a climax and then faded to silence. Ko looked exhausted but determined. What happens now? Nari asked the director. Now we take him to the main lab for proper testing. No, Call said firmly. His spines began to make warning sounds. No tests, no hurt pack. You don't have a choice, Director Lee said. You're our prisoner. Chell's spines flared with angry harmonics. He tried to sit up, but his injuries were still healing. Not prisoner, Packmate. There's no such thing as a human Vorthok pack, the director said. There is now, Nari said. She moved closer to Chow's bed. I accept his vow. I accept him as Pack. Dr. Kim, you don't know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm making history. The communication system on the wall suddenly activated. Commander Park Taiho's voice filled the room. All personnel to emergency stations. We have incoming Vorthok ships. Multiple contacts approaching the station. Director Lee's face went pale. How many? 12 warriors, sir. They're armed and moving fast. Tal's spines began to vibrate with urgent, frightened sounds. His eyes were wide with terror. What's wrong? Nari asked him. Pack comes, he said. Zeth comes. Very dangerous. Who is Zeth? Old pack leader. Comes too. To finish. Finish what? Cole, still alive. Brings shame to pack. Must die. The lights in the medical bay flickered as the station's defense systems activated. Through the small window, Nari could see shapes moving across the purple landscape. Vorthok warriors, much larger than Cal, running toward the station with deadly purpose. We need to evacuate, Director Lee said. Get everyone to the emergency shuttles. No, Cole said. He struggled to stand up despite his injuries. No, run. Cole fights. He can barely walk, Nari said. Must protect Pack. Must protect Nari. Building shook as something heavy struck the outer wall. Screams echoed through the corridors. The Vorthok attack had begun. There's no time, Director Lee said. We're leaving now. I won't abandon him, Nari said. He's one alien against 12. I'll die anyway. Then I'll die with him. Commander Park Taiho burst into the medical bay. The main entrance is breached. They're inside the station. He stopped when he saw Cole standing beside his bed. The warrior was badly injured, but determined to fight. Is that thing going to attack us? Taiho asked. No, Nari said. He's going to protect us. A roar echoed through the station. It was answered by other voices, creating a terrifying chorus of alien hunting calls. Zeth, Cole said. His spines made sounds of fear and anger. Calls to Pack. Says kill all humans. Take contaminated warrior. Contaminated? Taiho asked. Cole touched by humans. No longer a pure Vorthok. Must die. Out. Another roar. Closer this time. The lights went out, leaving them in emergency lighting. They're coming, Taiho said. We need to move. No, Cole said. He moved to the door, blocking their exit. Safer here. Cole guards. Can't fight 12 warriors in your condition, Nari said. Can try? Will try? For Pack. The sounds of battle grew louder. Gunfire mixed with alien roars and the screams of humans. The research station was being torn apart. This is insane, Director Lee said. We're all going to die, maybe Cole said. But Pack dies together, dies fighting. Wait. He looked at Nari with his golden eyes. You teach Cole human words? Now Kel teach you Vorthok way. What way? Pack protects pack. Always, even unto death. The door to the medical bay exploded inward. A massive Vorthok warrior stood in the doorway, his crystalline spines glowing with battle rage. This had to be Shet. He was larger than Kel, with scars. Covering his dark scales, his golden eyes burned with hatred as he looked at the humans. Kal, he said in the spine language, you have brought shame to our bloodline. I have brought honor, Kal replied, also in spin speech. These humans are under my protection. Spines flared with angry harmonics. You speak of honor while standing with prey meat. I speak of honor while standing with family. Two warriors faced each other. Cole was wounded and weak, but he stood firmly between the humans and his former pack leader. You will die for this betrayal, Zeth said. Then I die with honor, Cole replied. The battle was about to begin. And Nari realized that everything she thought she knew about the Vorthok was about to change forever. Zeth's massive form filled the doorway like a living nightmare. His crystalline spines glowed with battle fury, casting strange shadows on the walls. Behind him, the sounds of destruction echoed through the station. His pack was tearing the research facility apart, hunting for any humans they could find. Last chance, Cole, Zeth said in the spine language. Renounce these creatures and return to the pack. They are not prey, Kel replied firmly. They are family. Steph's spines flared brighter with rage. Then you will die as they die. The pack leader lunged forward with deadly speed. Claws extended, aiming for Child's throat. But Cal was ready. Despite his injuries, he moved to block the attack. The two warriors crashed into each other with tremendous force. Nari pressed herself against the wall as the battle erupted in front of her. Cole and Zeth grappled, their claws sparking against each other's crystalline spines. Both warriors were incredibly strong, but Zeth was healthy while Cole was still recovering from his wounds. We have to help him, Nari said to Commander Taiho. What? Our weapons can't hurt those spines. There has to be something. Director Lee was already at the emergency communication panel. This is Research Station Kepler-4, to be calling for immediate military assistance. We are under attack by hostile aliens. The reply came back filled with static, unable to provide support. All military ships are engaged with Vorthok fleets in the outer system. We're on our own, Taiho said grimly. In the center of the room, Kal was losing the fight. Zeth's claws had opened new wounds on his arms and chest. The injured warrior stumbled backward, breathing heavily. You are weak, Zeth snarled. The humans have made you soft. The humans have made me strong, Kal gasped. Strong enough to stand for what is right. He lunged forward again, surprising Zeth with his determination. His claws found their mark, cutting deep into the pack leader's shoulder. Zeth roared in pain and anger. The sound of his roar was answered by other voices throughout the station. The rest of the pack was responding to their leader's call. More are coming. Yunhan whispered from where she crouched behind a medical table. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor. 2 more Vorthok warriors appeared in the doorway. Were smaller than Zeth, but still massive compared to the humans. Kill the prey meat, Zeth ordered without taking his eyes off Kel. Leave the contaminated one for me. The two warriors stepped into the room, their spines humming with hunting songs. Commander Taiho raised his weapon, but Nari knew it would be useless against their natural armor. Suddenly, Cole broke away from his fight with Zeth. He positioned himself between the newcomers and the humans. "No," he said firmly. "They are under my protection. Cannot fight all of us," one of the warriors said. "Can try," Cole replied. The room erupted into chaos. The two warriors charged at Cole while Zeth attacked from behind. The injured warrior fought with desperate courage, but he was outnumbered and wounded. Nari watched in horror as Cole took blow after blow. His golden blood spattered the walls, but he never gave ground. He never stopped protecting the humans behind him. "This is insane," Director Lee said. "Why is he doing this?" "'Cause we're his pack," Nari said. "And pack protects pack." Commander Taiho suddenly had an idea. "The fire suppression system. If we trigger it, the chemical foam might slow them down." He ran to the emergency panel and activated the system. Immediately, thick white foam began spraying from the ceiling. The chemical mixture was designed to put out electrical fires. It made the floor slippery and the air hard to breathe. The Vorthok warriors stumbled as the foam covered their feet. Their movements became slower and more careful. Call used the distraction to land a powerful blow on one of his attackers, but there were still too many of them, and more were coming. Nari could hear at least 4 more sets of footsteps approaching. "Through the corridors." "We need to get out of here," Taiho said. "Not without Kel," Nari replied. "He's buying us time to escape. We should use it." "No, I won't abandon him." As if hearing her words, Cole glanced back at her. His golden eyes were filled with pain, but also with determination. "Nari, go," he said in English. "Live. Remember, Cole, not leaving you. Must go. Pack must survive." Zeth chose that moment to strike. His claws raked across Chelt's back, sending the younger warrior to his knees. Golden blood pooled beneath him. "Now you die," Zeth said, "and your precious humans watch." He raised his claws for the killing blow. That was when the wall exploded. A massive hole appeared in the outer wall of the medical bay. Through it stepped Commander Taiho's security team, armed with heavy weapons designed for alien threats. "Take them down," Taiho shouted into his communicator. The security team opened fire with energy weapons that could penetrate Vorthok's spine. Armor. The 2 smaller warriors were hit immediately and fell to the ground. Zeth roared in fury and charged toward the new threat, but Cole was not finished. Despite his wounds, he grabbed Zeth's leg and pulled him down. The 2 warriors rolled across the foam-covered floor, grappling desperately. "Clear the room," one of the security officers shouted. "We can't get a clean shot." More explosions echoed through the station. The battle was spreading to other sections. But here, in this room, everything came down to 2 warriors, and the choice between old ways and new ones. Cole managed to pin Zeth to the ground. Both warriors were bleeding heavily, their strength almost gone. "You lose," Zeth gasped. "Even if you kill me, the pack will never accept your contamination." "You are alone." "Wrong," Cole said. "Cole has new pack. Better pack." He looked at Nari one more time. "Tell others. Tell Galaxy. Humans and Vorthok can be family." "Not going to die," Nari said. "I won't let you." But she could see that KL was fading. He had lost too much blood, used too much strength protecting them. "Promise," Call whispered. "Promise, tell story." "I promise," Nari said, tears streaming down her face. Zeth made one last attempt to break free, but Call held him down. The pack leader's strength was also gone. Both warriors lay still, their breathing shallow. The security team finally had a clear shot. But as they raised their weapons, Commander Taiho held up his hand. "Wait," he said. Something had changed in the corridor outside. The sounds of battle were fading. The other Vorthok warriors had stopped their attack. "What's happening?" Director Lee asked. A new voice spoke from the doorway. It was another Vorthok, but this one was different. Smaller than the others, with spines that glowed soft blue instead of angry red. The wounded one spoke truth, the newcomer said in broken English. Pack protects pack, even human pack. Behind the blue-spined warrior, more figures appeared. They were Vorthok, but they moved carefully, peacefully. Their spines sang with harmonics that sounded nothing like the hunting calls of Szeth's warriors. "Who are you?" Nari asked. "We are the cast-out ones," the warrior replied. "Ones who refused to kill, the ones who showed mercy. We heard Chel's pack song across the world. We came." Szeth raised his head weakly. "Impossible. The failures are all dead." "No," the blue-spined warrior said. "We live. Wait. Now we have hope." The newcomer approached Kel, who was barely conscious. Brother warrior fought well, proved new way possible. "Is he going to live?" Nari asked desperately. "If human healer helps, yes. Vorthok strong. Call strongest of all." As the medical team rushed to treat Chal's wounds, Nari realized that everything had changed. The battle was over, but the real work was just beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that humans and Vorthok could be more than enemies. They could be family. 2 weeks had passed since the battle. Kal lay in the main medical bay, his wounds slowly healing under the care of both human doctors and Vorthok healers. The cast-out warriors who had come to help called themselves the Mercy Pack. They had been living in the wilderness for years, hiding from warriors like Szeth, who saw mercy as weakness. Nari sat beside Kal's bed, teaching him more human words while learning about Vorthok culture from the Mercy Pack. Their leader, a female warrior named Sira, had become her main teacher. "Your bond with Kale is stronger than we expected," Sira said. Her spines glowed soft blue as she spoke. "He dreams of you when he sleeps. His spine song calls your name." "What does that mean?" "It means you are truly packmates. It's not just allies." But family Chel's eyes opened at the sound of their voices. His golden gaze immediately found Nari. "Good morning," he said in English. His pronunciation was getting better every day. "How do you feel? Stronger? Ready to work?" "Work," Sira's spines made soft musical sounds. "He means the great work, teaching others that the old ways are wrong." Director Lee Minho entered the medical bay with Commander Taiho and several other officials. His attitude toward the Vorthok had changed completely after witnessing Chel's sacrifice. "Dr. Kim, we've received a message from the Galactic Council," he said. "They want to send representatives to study what happened here." "What kind of study?" "They want to understand how humans and Vorthok formed a pack bond. Some species think it's impossible. Others think it's dangerous." Chel's spines made warning sounds. "Dangerous to who?" "To the established order," Commander Taiho explained. "If humans and Vorthok can work together, it changes everything about galactic politics." "Good," Cole said firmly. "Old politics built on fear. No, new politics should be built on understanding." Yoonhaun rushed into the medical bay carrying her tablet. "Dr. Kim, you need to see this. We're receiving spine song transmissions from across the galaxy." She played the recording. Complex harmonics filled the room, sung by dozens of different voices. "What are they saying?" Nari asked. Sira listened carefully, her blue spines resonating with the transmitted songs. "They are cast-out warriors from many worlds. They heard about Chel's pact bond with humans. They want to know if it's true." "How many? Hundreds? Maybe thousands?" "Warriors who were exiled for showing mercy, for refusing to kill children, for protecting the weak instead of dominating them." Cole struggled to sit up in his bed. "They come here?" "If we call them," Sira said. "If we prove that the new way works." Director Lee looked worried. "We can't handle thousands of Vorthok refugees." "Not refugees," Cole corrected. "Allies, teachers, bridge builders. The galaxy isn't ready for that kind of change." "Then we make ready," Nari said. "We show them that cooperation is stronger than conflict." Communication system activated. A harsh voice filled the room, speaking in the spine language. "That's Szeth," Sira said, her spines turning dark with worry. "He's broadcasting from his ship." "What's he saying?" "He's calling all traditional packs to come here. Says the contamination must be stopped before it spreads." Chow's spines flared with alarm. "How many ships?" Sira listened to more of the transmission. "At least 50 warpacks. Maybe more. They come to destroy what we have built." When will they arrive? 3 days. The room fell silent. 50 Vorthok war packs meant thousands of warriors. Even with the station's defenses and the Mercy Pack's help, they would be completely outnumbered. We have to evacuate, Director Lee said. No, Cole said. He swung his legs over the side of the bed, ignoring his injuries. We stay, we fight, it's suicide. But if we run, the old ways win. The galaxy never learns that change is possible. Nari felt fear growing in her chest, but also determination. Call's right, this is bigger than just us. This is about the future. Commander Taiho activated his communicator. All personnel, this is a general alert. Prepare for siege conditions. We have incoming hostile forces. Over the next 3 days, the research station transformed into a fortress. Human engineers worked alongside Vorthok warriors to strengthen the defenses. The Mercy Pack shared their knowledge of traditional Vorthok tactics while the humans contributed their technology, but everyone knew it wouldn't be enough. On the morning of the 3rd day, the enemy fleet arrived. 50 Vorthok warships filled the sky, their hulls gleaming in the alien sunlight. From the largest ship, Zeth's voice boomed across the planet. Surrender the contaminated ones, he demanded. Give us the humans who have corrupted our warriors, and the rest will be spared. Nari stood on the observation deck with KL and Sira, watching the fleet overhead. Her hands shook, but her voice was steady. What do we do now? Now we show the galaxy who the real beasts are, Call said. He activated the station's communication system and began to sing. His spine song was different from any Nari had heard before. It was not a battle cry or a hunting call. It was a song of hope. The song told the story of a wounded warrior and a human scientist, of trust built across species barriers, of love that transcended biology, of the strength that comes from protecting others instead of destroying them. One by one, the Mercy Pack joined the song. Their voices blended with Chel's, creating harmonies that had never existed before. The spine song spread across the planet, carried by the wind and the crystal formations that amplified Vorthok communications. What are you doing? Director Lee asked, calling for help, Sira explained. Not just from the cast-out warriors, but from any Vorthok who believes in mercy. The song continued for hours, and slowly something incredible began to happen. New ships appeared in the sky. Not warships, but civilian vessels. Transport ships carrying families, science vessels carrying researchers, even some military ships whose crews had heard the song and made their choice. It's impossible, came Zeth's voice over the communicator. They would not dare. They dare, Cole replied, because they know the truth. Strength comes from unity, not domination. More and more ships arrived throughout the day. By evening, Zeth's war fleet was outnumbered by peaceful vessels carrying Vorthok, who wanted to see this new way for themselves. You have lost, Zeth, Sira broadcast to the war fleet. Your warriors see that there is another path. We will see, Zeth replied. Tomorrow, we settle this the old way. Single combat. Your champion against mine, accepted, Cole said immediately. No, Nari protested. You're still injured. Must do this. Is the only way to prove new path is stronger. Then I'll fight beside you. Humans cannot survive Vorthok. Combat. I'm your packmate. Where you go, I go. Cole looked at her with his golden eyes. For the first time since she had known him, she saw fear there. Not fear of death, but fear of losing her. Promise me something, she said. If we die tomorrow, we die proving that love is stronger than hate. We not die, Cole said firmly. Win. We build bridge between worlds. That night, as they prepared for the battle that would decide the future of human-Vorthok relations, Nari realized that Cole was right about one thing. Tomorrow would reveal who the real beasts were. Had a feeling the galaxy was about to be very surprised by the answer. The dawn came red and orange across the alien landscape. In the center of the purple grassland, a large circle had been marked for single combat. Traditional Vorthok law demanded that disputes be settled by champions fighting until one side yielded or died. Thousands of Vorthok surrounded the circle, both warriors and civilians. Above them, the peaceful fleet and Szeth's warships faced each other in uneasy tension. The outcome of this battle would decide not just the fate of the research station, but the future of two entire species. Nari walked beside Cole toward the center of the circle. She wore light armor that the human engineers had quickly assembled, though they all knew it would provide little protection against Vorthok claws. "You should not be here," Cole said quietly. "This is warriors' work. We're packmates," Nari replied. "Pack fights together. If we lose, you die. If we lose, the old ways win. That's worse than death." Cole's spines glowed with soft blue light. "You teach Cole many things about humans. Today, Cole teach Galaxy about friendship." The opposite side of the circle, Szeth waited with his champion. The warrior was massive, even larger than Szeth himself. His crystalline spines were black with rage, and scars covered his dark scales. This was Vex, Szeth's most feared enforcer. "The rules are simple," Szeth announced to the watching crowds. "Combat continues until one side surrenders or dies. The winning side's philosophy becomes law for all Vorthok." "Agreed," Cole said. He looked at the thousands of faces watching them. "But remember, today we fight not just for victory, but for the right to choose our own path." A roar went up from the Mercy Pack and their supporters. Even some of the traditional warriors seemed moved by his words. The combat circle was marked with ancient symbols that glowed in the morning light. As Cole and Nari entered from one side, Vex stepped in from the other. The massive warrior's spines hummed with killing songs. "You bring prey meat to a warrior's battle," Vex rumbled. "We'll die first." "Touch her and learn why the humans call me friend," Cole replied. Commander Taiho's voice came through Nari's communicator. "All human forces are standing by. If this goes wrong, we'll extract you." "No," Nari said firmly. "If we run now, we'll never get another chance to prove this can work." The battle judge, an ancient Vorthok elder, raised his staff. "Let the combat begin." Vex charged immediately, his massive form moving with surprising speed. His claws aimed for Nari, believing the human would be an easy target. But Cole was faster. He intercepted the attack, his own claws clashing against Vex's with a sound like breaking crystal. The two warriors circled each other,
all looking for openings.
Vex was larger and stronger, but Kel was faster and more determined. Every time Vex tried to reach Nari, Kel blocked his path. "Fight me," coward Vex snarled. "Stop hiding behind the prack reacher." "Stop trying to hurt my packmate," Kel replied. As the battle continued, something unexpected began to happen. Nari started to move in coordination with Cal. When he attacked, she provided distraction. When he defended, she watched for threats from different angles. They were fighting as a team in a way that no Vorthok had ever seen before. "Impossible." Szeth breathed from the edge of the circle. "They fight as one mind. They fight as pack," Sira said proudly. "True pack. Each protects the other." Vex grew frustrated by his inability to separate the two fighters. His attacks became wilder, less controlled. Cole used this to his advantage, landing several strikes on the larger warrior's arms and chest. But Vex was far from beaten. With a roar of rage, he activated his spine weapons. A black energy crackled along his crystalline spikes, a technique that few Vorthok warriors could master. "Now you die," he said, and launched a bolt of dark energy at Nari. Time seemed to slow down. The energy blast was too fast for a human to dodge. Nari closed her eyes and waited for the end. It never came. When she opened her eyes, Cole was standing in front of her. The energy blast had struck him in the chest, burning through his scales and spines. Golden blood poured from the wound. "Cole," she screamed. The wounded warrior fell to one knee, but he did not give up. Still, still here, still protecting Pack. Vex laughed cruelly. "One more blast, and you're dead." Then the human dies. He began to charge another energy attack. His black spines crackled with deadly power. That was when Nari did something that changed everything. She stepped forward and placed her hand on Chel's wounded back. Together, she said, "What are you doing? What packmates do, sharing strength." Somehow, her touch seemed to give Kel new energy. His spines began to glow brighter. But more importantly, Nari felt something flowing between them, a connection that went deeper than words or species. "Now I understand," Kel whispered. "This is what Sira meant. True pack bond." He stood up, his wounds still bleeding, but his strength renewed. When Vex fired his second energy blast, Cole was ready. His own spines blazed with golden light, deflecting the attack harmlessly into the sky. "Impossible," Vex said. "No warrior can stand after taking spine fire." "Cole not just warrior," Nari said. "Cole is friend. Cole is family. Cole is loved." The word loved seemed to hit Vex harder than any physical blow. He staggered backward, his black spines flickering. "Love is weakness," he said, but his voice was uncertain. "Love is strength," Cole replied. He began to advance on the larger warrior. "Love makes warriors fight harder. Love makes them protect what matters. Love makes them strong enough to change the world." With each word, Chel's golden spines grew brighter. The watching Vorthok had never seen anything like it. Some of the traditional warriors began to look uncertain. Vex made one last desperate attack, but Cole was ready. He caught the larger warrior's claws and held them. For a moment, the two were locked in a test of pure strength. "Yield," Cole said. "You are beaten." "Never. The old ways are strongest. The old ways are dead." With a surge of strength that seemed impossible for his wounded body, Cole threw Vex to the ground. The massive warrior landed hard and did not get up. The circle fell silent. Even the wind seemed to stop blowing. "Do you yield?" the battle judge asked Vex. The defeated warrior looked up at Kel and Nari standing together. Golden light from Kel's spines mixed with the morning sunlight, making them seem to glow. I yield," Vex said quietly. A roar went up from the Mercy pack. But the traditional warriors remained silent, unsure what this meant for their future. Zeth stepped into the circle, his face twisted with rage. "The combat is won, but I do not accept the outcome. Contamination must be stopped." He drew a weapon, a crystalline blade that hummed with energy. This was no longer about honor or tradition. This was about murder. But as Zeth raised the blade, something extraordinary happened. Vex, the warrior he had expected to win, stood up and blocked his path. "No," Vex said. "The combat is over. Honor has been decided. You would protect them. I would protect what is right." One by one, other traditional warriors stepped forward. They formed a circle around Cole and Nari, protecting them from their own former leader. "You have all been contaminated," Zeth snarled. "No," said one of the warriors. "We have all been awakened." Seeing that even his own forces had turned against him, Zeth lowered his weapon. "This is not over." "Yes, it is," Cole said. He was exhausted and wounded, but his voice carried across the entire gathering. "Old ways of hate and fear are finished. New ways of friendship and cooperation begin now." 6 months later, Nari stood in the main conference room of the newly built Interspecies Research Center. Through the large windows, she could see humans and Vorthok working together in the gardens outside. Children of both species played together while their parents watched proudly. Kale entered the room, his scales now bearing new decorative patterns that marked him as a pack leader. Behind him came Sira, Commander Taiho, and Director Lee. "The Galactic Council has approved our proposal," Director Lee announced. "Formal diplomatic relations between humans and Vorthok will begin next month." "What about the traditional war packs?" Taiho asked. "Most have agreed to the new accord," Sira said. "Those who refuse are becoming fewer each year. The young warriors, especially, are drawn to the new ways." "And Zeth, still fighting the old fight," Cole said sadly. "But with fewer followers each day, eventually even he will see that love is stronger than hate." Nari walked to the window and looked out at the peaceful scene. Yunhaun was teaching a group of young Vorthok how to use human computers. A human child was learning to play Vorthok spine music from an elderly warrior. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" she asked Kel. "No," he admitted. "When Pack abandoned me, thought life was over. You showed me life was just beginning. We both learned something, Nari said. Species boundaries are just lines we draw in our minds. Family is something we choose. With our hearts, Chell's spines glowed with the soft golden light that had become his signature. Galaxy said she was crazy for loving the beast. Now, Beast protects her like Packmate forever. Through the window, they watched human children and Vorthok younglings playing together. Learning that friendship was possible between any two beings willing to try, the galaxy had indeed learned who the real beasts were.
Ow.
They were those who chose. Hate over love, fear over understanding, separation over unity, and they were becoming extinct. In their place, a new kind of civilization was growing, one built on the simple truth that Nari and Cole had discovered in a makeshift medical bay on an alien world. Pack protects pack, always, forever, no matter what species they happen to be.